Hello folks, and welcome to another Blockhouse Tactics video where today we're going to be going over a little bit more to do with orders, more or less command tokens, which are some special things you can do with the orders that we talked about yesterday. So to start us off, you can find command tokens on page 147. Command tokens are kind of split up into two different types or groups, if you will. One is strategic use and the other is tactical use. First, we're going to go over strategic use because, in my opinion, it's the one that I'm kind of crazy about the most. Strategic use is only for the player that's going second. Now, there's two things that you can do with strategic use of your command tokens. You can spend a command token, and that will force your player to lose two of his regular orders. Or you can spend a command token and force your opponent to only be able to use one command token during that round. Now, these kind of play into point value games. So for command tokens, you get 4 command tokens no matter what size game you're playing. You're playing a 100-point game, 4 command tokens. You're playing a 400-point game, 4 command tokens. So for this first strategic use of make your player or make your opponent lose 2 regular orders, say you're playing a 100-point game, well, your model count is going to be relatively low, therefore your order pool is going to be relatively low. So around 6 models for a 100-point game, and that's pushing it. So if you force your opponent to lose 2 of those regular orders, his first turn, he's only got 4 orders to try and do something. There's not much you can do with only 4 orders at that point. The other one I can see being more advantageous in a larger game, so a 300, 400-point game, and we'll get into why. As far as limiting the command tokens of your opponent, it may be a good thing. For instance, when we get into tactical use, you can do coordinated order with 1 command token and 1 regular order. Well, to force your opponent not to be able to do, say, 3 or 4 coordinated orders the first round, to move his troops up, get into position, set down some suppressing fire, what have you, or suppressive state. There's no longer suppressive fire; it's a state. You can do that, and you kind of feel a little bit better about not having all those dudes run up at once and kind of form link teams in a vanilla army. Those are kind of the 2 strategic use things. Again, only the second player can do this. It's kind of one of the benefits, I guess, that you do get as being a second player, along with some of the other benefits that are in, ITS missions where things are scored at the end of the round. You kind of want to be second. Well, this also adds another benefit of going second for that game round. Let's get a little bit into the tactical use of command tokens. So some of the tactical uses, we'll just kind of list them out here. First one is you can move a unit from one command group or one group to the other group. So you spend a command token, you move that guy into the other group. Another one is you can cancel possess states. This is pretty good, especially seeing as how there are so many opportunities and so many cool things that hackers can do. Well, now there's going to be a lot of hackers on the field. So if you take things like tags that can get possessed, well, saving a command token is going to be beneficial because you don't want your tag killing your dudes. It's just not fun. Just not fun. Another one is to have an allied troop pass or fail its guts roll. This is important because there's, at the end of all of this kind of command token verbiage, there's a piece that says only in the active turn. So you can't, in the reactive turn, use a command token and automatically pass or fail your guts. Passing or failing your guts is something good for people like religious. Like a religious troop has to roll a dice and has to basically fail the guts roll in order to duck into cover. So this will just say, no, I don't want to get shot anymore. I'm going to flip a command token, and that guy moves into cover. Another thing you can do is flip an irregular order to a regular order so that it contributes to your pool. So this, along with the moving a unit into the other combat group, can help you keep that one combat group pretty beefy and have a lot of orders. So say if you have specialists that you need to really get something done and you need more orders to do so, but you have a few irregular guys, or your squads are split up into, like, 10 and 8, 10 and 16, we can start moving some of those guys from that second order pool into the first order pool so that you have a nice beefy order pool to work with and try to accomplish some of those special objectives. Another thing that command tokens are good for is to unaffect the effects of retreat. So you can pick a guy, pick a unit, and say, well, this guy is not going to be affected by retreat. Boom, spend a command token. The next two kind of are similar in that you can spend a command token. So say you go up, and this is really important for you Pano players out there, your trauma doc is also known as Dr. Kevorkian. He's the, Pano doctors are really good about and really promote euthanasia. So if, say, your trauma doc goes up and tries to doctor someone that has a cube, very important here, the thing you're trying to doctor, or the person you're trying to doctor, must have a cube in order for this trick or command token skill to work. So trauma doc goes up there, injects the guy with the wrong stuff, and aka fails the whip roll. Well, you could spend a command token to re-roll that. Now, very important here, spending a command token to re-roll that does not allow you, or does not allow your opponent rather, to ARO that skill again. Yes, you're still using the skill, but you can't ARO to it as it's a command token special skill. The guy's trying to re-doctor him. If he fails again, he's dead. It's a trauma doc. The next is similar in that engineering. Say your machinist wants to go up there and engineer something with the ghost special skill, very important. It's kind of like cube. You can't use the command token if the guy doesn't have a cube. You can't use the command token for engineer if the thing with structure does not have the ghost special skill with it as well. So again, very similar to the doctor. Machinist goes up there, fails the whip roll, flip a token, roll the dice again. Yay! Your thing with structure is now back alive. Those, for the most part, are the things you can do with tactical use. The one that I've left to the end is the most important, in my opinion, and that's the ability to do a coordinated order. So in second edition, you had 10 dudes in a group. If you wanted to do a coordinated order, you could do up to 4. So you would spend a regular order for each troop, and then you could coordinate their order. Now, you spend 1 command token and 1 regular order, and you coordinate up to 4 people to do a coordinated order. So as soon as you spend that command token, spend that regular order, you nominate one of the 4 as your spearhead, and this really only plays into whenever you're going to shoot something. Otherwise, you just place a spearhead token next to your guy, kind of like the link leader token. So that guy is the spearhead for that order. One important thing with coordinated orders is they all have to do the same thing in the same sequence. So they all have to move, shoot, or move, or move, dodge. You can't do dodge, move with one guy, move, dodge with another guy. It's all got to be in the same sequence. Much like a league team, if anything happens, if one guy does it, so say you want to move, or just move, and one guy doesn't actually move, he's just sitting there because he wants to shoot next, he actually counts as moving. So that can be ARO to, because everybody's got to do the same skill at the same sequence. Another thing that's important to note is you can only coordinate troops of the same type. Well, what does that mean? So you can only coordinate irregular troops with other irregular troops. You can only coordinate regular troops with other regular troops. And you can also only coordinate within the group. So you can't coordinate 3 guys from one group and 1 guy from group 2. They all must be in the same group, and they all must be of the same type. So For instance, what if you wanted to move and then shoot? How does that work? What burst do you get? There was some maths involved in second edition. In third edition, it's cleared up a lot. Your spearhead guy, his burst is reduced to half, always rounding up. So say he's got a rifle, goes down to 1.5. Well, now your spearhead guy is at burst 2. Everyone else that is kind of supporting this coordinated order, all their weapons just go down to burst 1, period. No matter what their original burst is, everything is just burst 1. So your spearhead guy's got a rifle. The other 3 guys have sniper rifles. Boom, all the sniper rifles just get 1 shot. Another thing to note is that for CC, so your spearhead runs in, gets into close combat. The other 3 guys are able to also get into close combat. Well, what that's going to give your spearhead is a dice for every dude that's in close combat. So if all 4 of them make it into close combat, your spearhead is rolling 4 dice, and his pH is going to go up +1 for all 4 that are in there. So you get a bonus to your pH, you get a bonus to your burst. The only time that this isn't really advantageous is if you're going up against, if you're trying to CC something with martial arts level 5, in which case just don't do that anyway. You want to shoot the crap out of whatever MA level 5 thing that's out there. You never want to get into close combat with an MA5 unit. So anyway, because the reason is the MA5 unit, or martial arts level 5 unit, is going to match the dice that you're throwing at it. So at that point, you're not really at an advantage to CCing an MA level 5 guy. A few other things with coordinated orders come whenever you're trying to airdrop. So if you're airborne infiltration and you want to coordinate that drop in, they all must enter in through the same segment of the table. Kind of similar to AD combat jump. So they all must enter in the same template, and it's not just one roll. You have to make a roll for each of the 4, and then divert, scatter should you fail the roll per individual, not as a group. So those are some quick and dirty things about command tokens, and then on the next page, 148, talks about coordinated orders and what you can do with coordinated orders and kind of the ruling around them. Hopefully soon we'll have a battle report here. That boss is coming in. We're going to play a battle. We're going to record it. And if it's not crappy, then we're going to put it up on the YouTubes and try to get some feedback on our first battle report that we do here from the Blockhouse. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you got some good information here, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.